Coach, you're through 3 games now. Is it too early to say that you've started to identify your identity, or are you starting to figure out who you guys are?
Well, if we could put together all the good from the first three, we'd have a really good identity. No, I mean, I think that obviously it's a learning. It's a very different season from the standpoint of, your identity and trying to develop that. What we want to do, and I think at times we've done this. First two ball games, I thought we played really hard and really for our, closer to our potential defensively. Last game we didn't, and some of that was they were pretty familiar with what we do and how we do it, and they took advantage a little bit once we settled in. We spotted them at least 14. The first touchdown pass, the big long run on the sideline. I mean, we just making critical errors, misaligned, blown coverage, stuff like that. So we hadn't really done that, and I think some of that was trying to do. You start playing there, and I start, well, hey man, we're doing good. Let's try to progress this thing. Let's try to do more. So I think the key this year is just being able to balance where that line needs to be. And I think I was trying to do a little bit too much. And so once we settle back down, though, they come back the second half and played with great effort. But this week we're going to play, I think, the best team we played to this point. Tremendous tailback. And they're going to run the football, and they're going to try to throw it over the top of it. So we got to play our best game defensively. Offensively, you put the first game's running game with the last game's passing game, and we're pretty, that's our identity. That's what we want to be. But our big thing that I did not like about the last game is we cannot. It's like, to me, when we turn the ball over like that, is absolutely just unacceptable, miserable, the worst thing in the world that could happen. And I think sometimes when you turn the ball over a lot, they think it's just kind of part of what's going to happen. And we got to get that out of our system. We put the ball in jeopardy, made some, very bad decisions with the football, running the football, put the ball on the ground, fumbled it. On the same hand, there's a lot of times we're not fumbling it, that we're putting the ball in jeopardy. We're not taking care of the ball the way we need to take care of the ball. Obviously, I voiced my displeasure in that at halftime, and I think they responded really well. We were actually -2 and won a football game. That usually, if you're -3, it's the death penalty. You're not going to win. So we got to take care of the football. We've got to play our best game this week. We can't, whatever. It's whatever, abbreviated season, all the stuff that's going on. Everybody else has the same deal. Now we've gone through 3 games. We got a body of work. We know what needs to be done. We had our best practice today. I was real pleased with that. So, man, that's what we got to do this week, and we got the biggest challenge we've had to this point.
Coach, with 2 teams getting into the Mountain West Championship game, regardless of division, how much importance do you think it adds to every game, especially this Saturday when a pair of 2-1 teams are playing each other?
I think the winner of this game puts themselves in great position to move forward. You can't afford to lose this game, period. Obviously, there's not divisions this year, so it's going to boil down to the 2 best records and who beat who and all that. I do think that of the teams we've played so far, there's not any question in my mind that this team is the best athletically. They got a very, very strong running attack, physical running attack, great backfield. Great personnel in the backfield. Bell is a special tailback. I think he reminds me a lot of the young man from Wyoming, except I think he's a little better. I mean, that from what I coaches always say that whoever they're playing, but I really think this guy's. I can't imagine that we'd play anybody better in this league. I've not seen anybody better on film than Bell, and he's a transfer, and that's why I didn't see him before. So I think in the defensively. Obviously, they've had a tradition of playing great defense there, and they've got really good personnel. They're fast, they're big, they're strong. This is one of the biggest teams we're going to play up front on both sides of football. And so it's a big challenge for us this weekend. But heck, that's what it's all about. It's what you sign up for. Our players know that. They know the team that won this game last year played for the championship. And so we got to figure out a way to go and fight and scratch. Know we're going to be in a dogfight on the road and figure out a way to win. And the path to that is 100% ball security, no negatives, no cheap ones. And we
Coach,
win the turnover battle. That's the key to it. Yes, sir.
Coach, it seems like formationally they run the same thing defensively as New Mexico did. I know it's different schemes there, but formationally it looks the same. Does that help you, or is that more of a challenge because now they've got to see how you respond to that type of look?
They've got some similarities, but there's some they're different. I mean, Rocky Long defense is going to be ran by Rocky Long, and I think what Rocky does is it's a little bit different. It's not it's some similarities. I think they've been very smart because they've kept a lot of the things that the players have done well. And then they've kind of added their own kind of identity to what they're doing defensively. So the difference is the personnel. Their defensive personnel is as good as we're going to play against. I mean, they got really good defensive personnel. They can match you up, man. They got guys that are challenged to block up front. They're going to twist, stunt, run multiple looks. But it isn't exactly the same, but it's there's a lot of similarities.
You guys have gotten off to a little bit of slow starts the first 3 games. Do you chalk that up to
That's an understatement. Wow.
Do you chalk that up to the pregame festivities don't feel the same, or what do you need to do to bring your own juice here to start up?
I get that a lot. I mean, like, I'm not going to lie to you. It was strange for me. I mean, just being, and it wasn't like Fresno was different. I guess Fresno's a smaller stadium. So, but at home, it was kind of, I'm ready to get our fans back. I can tell you that, the atmosphere, but no, I don't. I think we've had a slow start because we've not been very disciplined as we started the games off, and maybe we're trying to, I think early, especially the first week, we fumbled the football in the kickoff. It's just, it's basically chaos. I think a lot of that's lack of practice, lack of execution. Traditionally, most of my teams I've had have started fast. We with the no huddle, you usually will start fast, and our tempo is non-existent. I mean, I think last game you guys could see we got in a rhythm, and so we had some rhythm, offensively. I think the reason why we've had slow starts, we've just been not very disciplined starting the games, and for whatever reason, just not executed. And what's bad is kind of, allowing long drives on the first drive defensively, or last week, allowing them to just go down and score. That giving up, we just had a critical error, blown coverage, and get scored on. So I would tell you that I've not had this. That's new. This is a new thing for me to have to be starting that slow. We cannot do that. We want to play from ahead. If you look at the statistics, if you score first, especially if you score touchdown first, big time percentage, your winning percentages go up. So I think a lot of that's just poor execution, and we got to do a better job preparing the guys and getting them ready. A lot of it, I think, has to do with newness. No matter what you say, there's things that are similar, but it's different. And so I know defensively, we've had more critical errors in 3 weeks than I'd have in the season. But I think a lot of that's because, you don't have, because of practice and how practice, like today, we have people, if they have an earache or they have a temperature or they have diarrhea, they're not here. So they don't practice. So you got different guys missing every day. And obviously we got to do that because of, you got to be safe and cautious, but that is a disruption in practicing. And it's probably the least amount of practice. And I know every coach is dealing with this. And then what happens to you as a coach, you're going like, why can't we do this? Why can't we execute this? And you need to back up what you're doing and keep things a little more simpler to be able to execute what we can execute. I think that's, we pride ourselves on being, prepared and smart. Our staff works extremely hard to do that. And then I think the key is being adaptive. We got to be adaptive. And if we don't, then we're going to continue to struggle in starting games, and we can't do that because it's been the worst I've had, and I think that's, everything you see on that field is coaching, it's accountability, and so we just got to do a better job coaching, preparing the guys, and getting the right get them to execute what we've got to execute to start the football game, not try to do too much.
I know you want to look ahead, but going back to that Jared Smart catch, what goes through your head on the sidelines? And you've seen a lot of great catches. What was like watching him get that 2-point conversion, what ended up being some big points?
Jared reminds me of a guy that played for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 7 or 8 years. He played for me at Rice, named Jarrett Dillard. So he reminds me of, and Jarrett Dillard would just make that. I mean, that was like, when he threw the ball, I went like, oh, well, okay, we're not going to catch this. It's going to be out of the end zone. Man, I mean, it was a phenomenal catch. And, he's really been, I think offensively, if I had to pick a guy, he has been steady. He has been playing at a high level for all 3 weeks. And so I've been very pleased with how he's played. You know what, too? The guy practiced that way. He practiced hard. He prepares hard. And, man, that was pretty spectacular catch. I was pretty impressed with it. The other thing, that we want to do is that, like, we had 2 just walk-off touchdowns that we can't have those overthrows on those plays where we had great play call, great execution, and then we overthrow the ball. So we left some points on the board as well. I thought we should have scored 2 more times.
You spoke about the progression of Quentin Frazier during the week. He got hurt on Wednesday. Thursday was in a boot. When did you start seeing that? Yeah, he's going to be ready, and that he's the kind of special guy that they can play on game days.
I never thought he would play at all. He was in a boot on Thursday on crutches, and tough kid. I mean, I've been so impressed with him. I think he's a guy that's probably, I don't know. I mean, Darius Musow, Quentin and Corey are probably the guys that are playing Blessman probably up front that are just been consistently at a high level. But Quentin's a guy that, transfer come in here, and I've not seen very many kids do that. Have a sprained ankle on Wednesday and play like he did, on Saturday. So he earned, after the game, he was the one that busted the rock, and man, he earned the respect of this coach and this football team on Saturday, big time.
What'd you see in him? Because he was basically a one and done guy until they got the exemption, and he was more of a defensive back, and you sort of turned him into a hybrid. What'd you see on him in film, or was it a lot of just the recommendations of?
I got this guy named Victor Santa Cruz I know really well. He coached him. So he said it was a no-brainer. I mean, Victor came to me and said, "Coach, this kid's got heart. He's everything we're about." And wasn't much discussion. And so we took him. And great decision. Obviously, it's an easy decision because Victor coached him and knew exactly what we were getting. So I have to give all the credit to Victor on that. But then again, I did hire Victor. So I guess I get some of the credit.
In your experience, is it rare for somebody to ever has this happen where somebody comes from that level and has that quick success at this level?
When Victor came to me and said, "Coach, this kid that played with me at Azusa Pacific, I think he could help us." And I said, well, Victor, we're not playing Division II level. We're playing Division I. I've never seen a kid, I've never done that. I don't think anywhere I've ever been, if I had a kid come. Matter of fact, Robert Nelson at Arizona State came from a 1AA. I've had a guy from a 1AA come, but not Division II. So that's pretty impressive for him to be able to do that. And I can tell you this, I haven't coached at a place that Quentin Frazier wouldn't play for me. So he's a pretty good player. I think he's a really good player. He's savvy, smart. He's I don't know what he runs a 40 in, probably 4.6, but he is extremely smart. You can coach the heck out of him. He takes hard coaching. He's very smart. He studies. It's one thing I like about our football team. And these guys, I can't work in the afternoons because they want to study film. They want to coach. Hey, can I come watch film with you? Can I get the kids they want to learn. I've been very impressed with him, and he's one of those kids that just constant student of the game. So impressed with him. So proud of what he's done to this point.
You guys good? Any more questions? All right. Okay.
One last thing is, it seems that Darius Musow was very. You also had seen him on film and everything, but how did he impress you when you actually saw him on the field and in the game situation?
When I watched Darius on film, he's one of the guys that we designed what we're doing behind. I just thought he was a special player. I thought Corey was a special player. And I thought we could be special, with Blessman at the nose tackle, and then we need to progress from there. And so Darius, I think, is, he's if he's not the best football player we have on defense, he's right there at the top and playing well. I always try to challenge him each day. I'll always walk up to him and say, so you're the best player here. There's some linebacker at Notre Dame that's trying to be All-Americans who you ought to be competing with. I think Darius has potential to be an all-conference, first-team all-conference guy, to be an All-American guy. More importantly, be a guy that can lead us to playing defense the way I want to play it. He comes and practice every day, busts his butt. I challenge him to, have a mental maturity. He's very quiet, and that's okay, but you have to kind of come out of that shell a little bit. Let loose some passion, and he does that. He's taken that challenge and done that. So he's a guy that I think we can build this defense around for the years to come.